next guest is either Hollywood's golden boy or the sexiest man alive, or both, depending which tabloid you read. The fact is the camera loves him, and the lad from Lewisham is the man of the moment, with 2 new movies on release. One is All the King's Men, a tale of political corruption in the Deep South, which pairs him with Sean Penn.
How you doing digging something up on Judge Irwin?
Nothing.
Nothing. Found nothing, done nothing.
Told you there was nothing to find. I could dig to China, wouldn't find anything. And I'm not framing him.
Framing? Ain't nobody talking about framing. That's never necessary. The truth is always sufficient. You just find the truth.
It's a waste of time and money.
Jesus, doesn't anybody listen to what I say anymore? You don't want to do it, don't do it. Or you're just looking for a raise. I'm going to give you a $100 raise whether you want it or not.
If I wanted more money, I'd make it.
You gonna tell me you work for me for love?
I don't know why I work for you, but it ain't for love or money.
Well, that's right, it's not. And you don't know why. But I do.
Why?
Boy, you work for me because I'm the way I am, and you the way you are.
Welcome, Jude Law. I'd always assumed when I saw you in that movie that you'd been together, worked together before, but that in fact was the first time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
What were first impressions before you actually met?
I thought he was so ugly.
We'd met a couple of times.
Briefly, yeah.
Very briefly.
Yeah.
But it was always this funny thing. I always felt like I don't know, like I kind of knew you or I knew her, yeah.
Yeah.
And it seemed impossible that we'd never worked together. It was very strange. And funnier still, actually, with Sam, I lived round the road from Sam.
Sam Mendes.
Yeah.
Sam Mendes.
Yeah.
And he actually, lived round the corner from me for nearly 5 years, and we didn't meet until we did Road to Perdition in Los Angeles. So
I love
sort of
that
bizarre.
movie. Yeah. That's the one part you played where you played ugly, didn't you?
I suppose so.
It's true though. You're evil little swine.
He's evil, yeah. He's evil.
I mean, really good movie. I really like that part. Really juicy part. That was.
It was fun. Well, Sam let me just run away with it, and there wasn't a whole lot on the page, so we wanted to do a lot with the way he looked, and he had to be memorable. A 9-hour haircut I had. They took my fringe from here to there, and it saved time by actually cutting it off. Yeah.
Things you do for movies. What about working with in the scene there with an actor as charismatic as that Sean Penn? I mean, Kate was making the point that in the movie industry you learn on the hoof, don't you? You watch people like him, I suppose, be one that you would watch.
Yeah.
I mean, what can you learn from something like that? Because he's such an extraordinary actor, isn't he?
I'd known Sean for a little while before we worked together, but he was one of the main reasons I wanted to do the job, to watch him at work, and he was extraordinary to watch, always different, always challenging. His awareness of himself was what fascinated me. He knew when he could do it better, and I often look to the director for that. I always feel like I put myself in the director's hands a lot more.
Yes.
He was absolutely aware of everything he was doing, and when he knew he could go again and find something new. It was extraordinary.
Let us talk about your new film called Breaking and Entering, because Anthony Minghella, who he's directed you in a couple of films as well.
It's the third time we've worked together.
Third time, that's right. And he made a very, very good point about you, and he said this, because he was comparing to Robert Redford, and those, and the relationship that he had with Sidney Pollack.
Oh, that's right, yeah, they made
together.
8, 9 films together, yeah.
And he said that, of you, he said, he's too handsome to be rated as an actor. It's a perversion of our times. What he's saying is that your looks, for some people, define you. And that you have the problem proving all the time that you're not there because you're a good-looking geezer, which you are, but because you're a good actor as well. Did you see? I mean, do you see what he's saying?
Not really. I think, going along with what Kate said, I think there's a really unhealthy obsession, which seems to be a measure of our time, or a sign of our times, which is it's like a vanity. It's an obsession with how we look, what we're wearing, how other people look, If they look a certain way, we judge. I don't know. And as a parent, again, like Kate said, I just see it as incredibly unhealthy, and it's certainly nothing I put an emphasis on with my kids. However, having said that, Anthony was talking about work. Maybe, I don't know, I could say that, I won't be cast in certain roles. But, I look
what roles? Like?
Well, I don't know. You could say I wouldn't be... Well, Maguire, funnily enough, the guy I played in Road to Perdition, you could say wasn't an obvious choice for Sam to call me up and offer me that. And,
that's right.
But I look at the people I've worked with and the work I've done, and I keep getting phone calls to go to work, so it's going all right. So
no, I don't think. I mean, the point he's just making is that a bit like Robert Redford, the more interesting roles in his life came later on in his life.
I think that's true, but I think that's also true too. In a funny way, a lot of it's about letting go. I did sort of beat myself up quite a lot in my 20s, where I really felt. And I'm glad I made these decisions, but I made a very conscious effort not to play the romantic leads and not to appear in the sort of romantic comedies and take that path. Because I was a young guy, I wanted to be taken seriously. I wanted to. I kept saying to myself, longevity. Like I really wanted to. I remember being inspired by Prospero's books and seeing Gielgud, aged I think 84, 85, doing some of his best film work, and thinking like that's where I wanted to get to.
Yes.
And to blow it all quickly just felt more apparent if I were to play up on being, the good-looking boy next door. I wanted to stretch myself as an actor, and I've kind of realised that living by those rules or trying to take part by, following those kind of laws actually is a bore. So well, just recently I've just enjoyed sort of what's come my way and
still
not
fair range,
fought it
haven't
quite
you?
so hard.
I mean,